Chapter 1. Doria, is that really you? God, I've missed you. I blinked, snapping back to reality, only to find James standing in front of me, his hand gripping mine as if his life depended on it. The way he looked at me, like I was the only person in the room, was almost convincing. Almost. Around us, the bar was buzzing with music and neon lights, but his friends stood there in stunned silence, exchanging confused glances. It was funny, really. The first time I met James was right here in this very bar. Back then, his one true love, Sharon, had just left the country, and on that same day, by sheer coincidence, he met me, someone who looked almost identical to her. I was just a waitress at the time, barely scraping by. And James? He was already a star, the golden boy of the entertainment industry, beloved by millions. In my last life, James had played the role of the perfect savior. He swept in with promises of love and protection, only to crush every ounce of pride I had left. I remember those days all too well, when my classmates humiliated me, stripping me, taking photos, beating me in the bathroom. It was James who sent people to protect me. When my art teacher destroyed my work and demanded I repay him with my body, it was James who made a call and handled the situation. When my father fell from a tree and needed emergency surgery, and my relatives turned their backs on us, it was James who paid the hospital bills. I thought he was my hero. But then one day, while he wrapped his arm around Sharon, laughing as if none of it mattered, he casually let the truth slip. All those things I did for her? That was just a little game. I wanted to see her crawl to me like a dog, begging for forgiveness. I tried to leave, but he chained me to the villa he shared with Sharon, forcing me to watch them day after day as if I didn't exist. When I fought back, he had them inject me with drugs. Sharon, she had her own twisted fun. She'd make me paint her portrait, and if she didn't like it, she'd break a finger. By the time she was done, all 10 of my fingers were shattered. When I had nothing left to give, they framed me for their crimes and sent me to prison. And after I was gone, only then did James start to regret what he'd done. Only then did he cry, wishing for a second chance. But now, standing in front of him, I was the one with the second chance. I took a deep breath, calming the storm of emotions swirling inside me. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "I'm sorry," I said, pulling my hand free from his grip. "But I don't know who you are. In my last life, I gave up everything for him, my dreams, my future, my freedom. And what did I get in return? A life destroyed. But this time, things were going to be different." His friends finally found their voices, laughing and jeering from the sidelines. "Come on, James is being generous here. Don't be stupid. Seriously, do you even know who he is? You're lucky he's even talking to you. She's actually rejecting him? What a joke." I glanced at them, my expression cold. They weren't innocent either. They had played their part in my downfall. James, however, wasn't having it. His eyes turned red, and he whirled around to shout at them. "Shut up." The room fell silent again, and all eyes turned to me. James's voice was shaky as he reached for my hand again, desperate. "You don't understand. I've been looking for you. I've missed you so much." I almost laughed. Oh, I understood perfectly well. After I passed away, James didn't even let them cremate my body. He kept me frozen in a morgue for a year, crying over my corpse, begging for forgiveness that came far too late. Too bad, James. Your love isn't worth a damn now. He reached for me again, trying to pull me into his arms. I slapped him hard across the face. The sound echoed through the room and gasps filled the air. His perfect face now had a bright red handprint to match. For a moment, James looked stunned, his hand hovering near his cheek. But then, unbelievably, he smiled. "I knew it," he said softly. "Doria, I knew it was you. You missed me too, didn't you?" I clenched my teeth, pulling out my phone. "If you don't back off, I'll call the cops." He didn't seem to hear me, his grip tightening. "Doria, please. Can't we just?" I yanked my hand free and dialed. 30 minutes later, the headlines were everywhere. National star James caught harassing woman at bar. Photos of him being escorted into the police station spread like wildfire. I didn't have to lift a finger. James was always surrounded by paparazzi, and this time they were doing all the work for me. In my last life, they'd photographed me too. But back then, his PR team spun the story that I was just his housemaid. I refreshed the page, watching the flood of comments pour in. Wow, never saw this coming. What a scandal. Disgusting. Kick him out of the industry. Rumor has it James has a thing for younger girls too. Gross. Of course, there were still the devoted fans clinging to their fantasies. There's no way James would harass someone. He could have any woman he wants. Maybe she's just some crazy fan trying to frame him. He's innocent. I'll believe him no matter what. But it didn't matter. His reputation was already crumbling, and this was only the beginning. I glanced at the hush money his manager had slipped into my hand earlier. It was laughable, really. Oh, James, you have no idea. The game is just getting started. 2. Sure enough, by the next morning, the internet had dug up photos of me and James. In the images, we were in a private booth at the bar, wrapped in what could only be described as a too close for comfort embrace. His friends were all around us, smiling and laughing. To anyone looking, it screamed mutual attraction. And just like that, the online world exploded. This isn't harassment. James is just dating. Celebrities deserve a personal life too. Why can't he have a relationship? Not gonna lie, that sweater she's wearing is kinda cute though. Then the fans started to stir the pot. Looks to me like she's the one clinging to him, not the other way around. James was probably drunk and mistook her for Sharon. Everyone knows he's still hung up on Sharon. Now that you mention it, she does look a bit like Sharon. Bet this girl's just here for her 15 minutes of fame. She probably called the cops for attention. The comments quickly turned uglier. James's fans went full attack mode, targeting me with their vitriol. Poor James. He's being used and still taking the blame for it. This girl better watch her back. She deserves everything coming to her. I scrolled through the comments, taking my time, unbothered. The scandal was only getting started. Within half an hour, every detail of my life had been dug up. My name, my address, my family. Nothing was off limits. Even my dad's apple orchard wasn't spared, with people leaving nasty reviews, trying to sabotage his business. Perfect. I wasn't about to let this slide. I quietly created a new account and uploaded the security footage from the bar. Something I'd gotten from the police that same night. Always good to have a backup. A few clicks later, the video was online, captioned simply, "The truth speaks for itself." And just like that, the tide turned. The backlash was swift and brutal, but this time it wasn't aimed at me. Women are always the first to tear other women down. It's disgusting. When will people stop with the mob mentality? This is why we can't have nice things. James and his fans owe her a massive apology. I sat back, smiling. With the topic trending, I decided to make the most of the attention. I dropped a link to my sweater in the comments. Get the look from the video. On sale now for $19.99 with free shipping. By midnight, I'd sold over 20,000 units. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. James and his crew thought they were playing me? Please. I was the one making bank off this mess. Just as I was about to call it a night, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but I answered anyway. The second I heard the voice on the other end, my blood ran cold. I'd know that voice anywhere, even if I hadn't heard it in years. "I'll give you one warning," Sharon said, her tone sharp. "If this is just some stunt to ride the wave, you'd better stop now. You won't like where this goes." I stared at my fingernails, not even flinching. Sharon had always been a pro at playing hard to get. She knew how to keep James hooked, reeling him in just enough before pulling away. In public, she was all cool indifference, acting like love wasn't even on her radar. But in private, she was obsessed with him. Funny how the things you can't have always seem more valuable, right? If she'd stuck to her game plan in my last life, maybe she wouldn't have ended up dumped by James when he finally got bored. When I didn't respond, Sharon's voice cut through the silence again, this time more venomous. "If you hurt James again, I won't hold back." I couldn't help the laugh that escaped me. I'd already been through hell once. What could she possibly do that would scare me now? The truth was, Sharon had no idea she'd already lost James. She was still playing a game that was long over. I swiped through my apps, pulling up Sharon's profile. Verified, of course, and listed as the lead actress in 2 hit dramas, The Prince's Forbidden Love and 30 Days of Heartbreak. She was good at playing the innocent sweetheart on screen, but off screen, she was anything but. This time, though, I wasn't the one who'd be losing. If anyone was headed for a fall, it was her. With a smirk, I deleted the video I just posted and replaced it with a recording of Sharon's call. I pinned it to the top of my profile under a new caption. It's easier to topple a giant than you think. Then, without a second thought, I powered off my phone. Let the internet do what it does best: fuel speculation and create chaos. The next morning, I pocketed the hush money James's agent had sent over, along with the cash I'd made from the sweater sales, and headed out to the art studio. In my last life, while I was being dragged through the mud, thanks to James, one of my classmates was thriving. Because of his looks, he'd caught the attention of a major director and landed a role in an upcoming blockbuster. This time, I wasn't going to let that opportunity slip by. I'd make sure to sign him before anyone else did. But just as I stepped outside, I found James standing there waiting for me, with a bouquet of white roses in hand. Since coming back, I've wondered a lot about how I got here. Was it fate giving me a second chance, or did James somehow make a sacrifice bringing me back? If it were up to him, I wouldn't believe a word of it. James was always a master at pretending, at making you believe whatever he wanted. Take now, for example. He's standing there with Sharon's favorite white roses, smiling at me, telling me he loves me. The irony? I'm allergic to flowers. I pinched my nose, grabbed the roses from his hand, and tossed them straight into the trash. James didn't even flinch. They just kept smiling like nothing had happened. So you've got a bit of a temper now, huh? I raised an eyebrow. Shouldn't you be worried about your agent coming after you? I didn't need to be a psychic to know what had happened after he left the bar. His management team would have ripped into him for sure. Being a celebrity was all about keeping up appearances, and I just about demolished his. If James wanted to keep coasting on his fans' adoration, he'd have to clean up the mess he'd made. But he still seemed to think luck was on his side. For a moment, his expression faltered. He looked away and then back at me, his voice softening. You've changed, Doria. I like the old you better. Oh, you mean the version of me that worshipped the ground you walked on? The one who came running every time you called? The girl who let you break her, piece by piece, until there was nothing left? Yeah, I bet you did. After a beat, he added. But no matter what, I still want to be with you. I stared at him, unimpressed. That's cute. Good luck with that. But if I were you, I'd be more worried about the PR nightmare you've got on your hands. With a snap of my fingers, I released the 3 guard dogs from my dad's orchard. They charged at James, barking furiously. Within seconds, they'd shredded his expensive pants to pieces. The sight of James stumbling away, trying to cover himself, was too much for the paparazzi hiding nearby. They couldn't resist stepping out to snap every embarrassing moment, their cameras flashing like crazy. In the end, James ran off, barely holding onto his dignity and what was left of his boxers. Chapter 3. After James left, I headed straight to the art studio, where I finally managed to meet Justin. Back then, he was just a broke college student barely scraping by. When I told him I wanted to sign him up for live streaming, he was thrilled, but also completely confused. I couldn't help but smile to myself, remembering how in my last life, a certain picture of him shirtless, fresh out of the shower, had gone viral, turning him into the internet's new heartthrob practically overnight. And this time, I wasn't just going to help him get famous. I had bigger plans. This was going to be a win-win. After he signed the contract, I checked my phone. Just as I expected, James's name was all over the trending topics. James the lapdog, bitten by karma, and other gems filled the headlines, and I couldn't help but laugh. After pulling a few more scandals like this, his carefully curated image was completely shattered. It didn't take long for the announcements to start rolling in one by one. His brand sponsors began publicly cutting ties with him. The lawsuits and breach of contract fees? Those would keep him occupied for a while. But don't worry, James. This is just the warm-up. Around the same time, Sharon posted an update. A photo of a plane ticket with a simple caption, "Coming home." Now that was a surprise. In my last life, Sharon had stayed abroad for a full year, playing hard to get and keeping James on edge. That same year, I was still hopelessly wrapped up in his lies, thinking I was the one. When Sharon finally came back, she popped that bubble real quick. But something had shifted this time. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but the timelines weren't matching up. Then again, if I could predict every move, what fun would that be? Now, I was actually looking forward to whatever came next. When I got home, I found my dad up in an apple tree, picking fruit like he always did. In my previous life, it was because of James's schemes that my dad had fallen from that very tree, hitting his head and slipping into a coma he never woke up from. And because James wanted to prove to Sharon that I meant nothing to him, he had stood by, cold and indifferent, as I begged for my dad's life. He had even pulled the plug on my dad's ventilator while I was on my knees sobbing. I'll never forget how James, with Sharon in his arms, kissed her right in front of my dad's lifeless body without a care in the world. My dad had raised me single-handedly, giving up everything to make sure I had a future. And in the end, I couldn't even protect him. The memory hit hard and my throat tightened. "Dad!" I called out, my voice shaky. He turned around and had a big smile on his face. "Hey, sweetheart. What are you doing back so soon?" I rushed over to the ladder, gripping it tightly. "Dad, please come down. You shouldn't be climbing that high." He chuckled, his eyes crinkling as he flashed me his usual warm grin. All right. Whatever you say, boss." As soon as his feet hit the ground, I threw my arms around him. "Promise me you won't climb that high anymore. I'll figure out a way to sell the apples so you don't have to worry about it." He ruffled my hair affectionately. "What are you talking about? My little girl is going to be the next Van Gogh, a famous artist." "Artists don't sell apples, kiddo." My eyes stung with unshed tears as I stared down at my hands. Hands that, this time around, were still whole, still capable. I still had a chance to live the life I wanted. The next day, I suited Justin up and set up a live stream to sell our apples. Thanks to the buzz I'd stirred up with the James and Sharon drama, we had tens of thousands of viewers tuning in the moment we went live. At first, all anyone could talk about was James's latest scandal. But the second Justin appeared on screen, the whole vibe changed. There he was, shirtless, wearing a straw hat, his pants rolled up, sitting in the dirt and biting into an apple. His muscles rippled as he moved, and the camera practically ate it up. I stood beside him, playing the part of the enthusiastic salesperson. "These apples are fresh, crisp, and just like the man, completely organic. Buy 10 pounds, get 2 extra. Picked fresh, shipped immediately." The viewer count exploded. Who is this guy? I've never seen him before, but wow, those muscles. This live stream is dangerous. I can't stop smiling. Okay, I get it now. This is like something straight out of a romance novel. No wonder the ladies back in the day fell for the cowboys. Within 10 minutes, we'd sold over 1,000 pounds of apples. I wiped the sweat from my brow and signaled Justin. He set down the apple and immediately launched into a fitness routine, flexing his muscles for the camera. The stream's momentum kept building. Half an hour later, every last apple was sold out. I shut the stream down with a satisfied grin. We'd made a fortune. A few days later, Justin called me. He had just landed the lead role in a major film, Wind's Whisper. He couldn't stop thanking me, saying I was the one who had discovered him. Without that live stream, he said, he never would have caught the attention of the casting team. He even promised that anytime I needed someone for a live stream or promotion, he was just one call away. And while I knew Justin would have landed the role with or without my help, I graciously accepted his thanks. It's always good to have people in your debt. In the days that followed, brand offers started pouring in. Word had gotten out, and now everyone wanted a piece of the action. The next time I saw James was at a brand-hosted livestream festival. Standing next to James was the flamboyantly dressed Sharon. At that moment, Justin and I walked into the gala hall side by side. James, still looking exhausted from his recent scandals, was closely watched by his agent. He only cast glances at me and Justin without making any moves. Sharon, however, was far less composed. From the moment I entered, her eyes were like daggers fixed on me. When I started chatting with an investor, Sharon couldn't hold back any longer. She walked over with disdain, her high heels clicking sharply. "You'll do anything for fame, won't you?" She cast a seemingly casual glance at the man beside me. Desperate. I smiled apologetically at the investor and shrugged helplessly. Honestly, I didn't want any interaction with Sharon in this life. I just wanted to quietly remove her from my path. Seeing no reaction from me, Sharon grabbed a glass of champagne and splashed it in my face. I had anticipated her move. After all, her brain wasn't capable of anything new. I grabbed a tray from a waiter, blocking the champagne, and smashed it over Sharon's head in one swift motion. All in one go. Just because I tolerated you in the last life doesn't mean I will in this one. The broken glass from the cup cut Sharon's cheek, and blood trickled down her face. Ah! Sharon screamed, covering her face and stumbling back a few steps, about to fall. Her cry attracted the attention of everyone around. I knew the act she was about to put on next, playing the weak, innocent victim. Sure enough, she looked at James and started crying pitifully. But I couldn't care less about her act and turned to leave. James, seeing me walk out, ignored Sharon and followed after me, leaving Sharon alone to face the crowd's murmurs. I heard that woman who just left is the one involved in James's recent scandal. Stop talking. She's different now. She owns a live streaming company and recently signed Justin. You know him? Really? Honestly, doing a live stream makes more than acting these days. Maybe I should reach out to her. Sharon, hearing the chatter, screamed and pulled the tablecloth in a fit of rage. The crowd looked at her like she was crazy. Well, she was a fool. Any woman completely consumed by love is a fool, including me in my last life. After all, wise people don't fall in love. Outside, James grabbed my hand. Qingyun. I fiddled with the ring on my finger, silent. The truth is, there was nothing left to say between us. No one lives in the past forever. James's eyes reddened. Qingyun, is it because of Justin? Did you choose him? Oh. I looked at him, bewildered. Is love the only thing worth pursuing in life? I looked at him, stroking my fingers. James, no one waits for you forever. Especially not someone who hates you to the bone. James froze, his pupils shrinking. Are you playing with me, Qingyun? I laughed mockingly. Life is short. You can't waste time and kindness on people who don't matter. James, as if I had hit his sore spot, glared at me and rushed forward, grabbing my throat and pinning me against the wall. I didn't expect him to switch from tender to furious so quickly, and before I could react, he had me in a chokehold. As I struggled to breathe, I stared into his eyes, my mouth opening and closing. James, if you have the guts, kill me right here. I wasn't afraid he'd kill me. The gala was full of cameras, and if I died here, no one present would escape investigation. Besides, I had 4 bodyguards rushing to my side. I never believed that a cunning wolf like him would turn into a docile puppy for love in this life. Someone as vile as him could never truly repent. How could he give up an entire forest for one flower? The bodyguards quickly restrained James's arms, and I smiled as he raged. Then I kicked him in the crotch with my high heel. James howled in pain. I dusted off my hands and walked away. I wasn't about to break the law for someone like him. My beautiful life was just beginning. That night, clips from the gala were leaked. Besides promoting their stars, the most popular video was Sharon's meltdown. Some netizens even speculated that Sharon's drastic change in demeanor might be due to possession by a ghost. In the following days, I discreetly obtained Sharon's brand information and offered them collaboration opportunities. Sharon's endorsements dwindled day by day, with industry rumors spreading. The great beauty Sharon is desperately seeking endorsements from every corner. I chuckled. Finally, I had her by the tail. After that, I hired a private investigator to keep close tabs on Sharon and James. Given their vengeful nature, Sharon was bound to cause trouble again, and catching her in the act was crucial. Sure enough, after a few weeks of silence, an issue arose with my livestream products. Chapter 5. A certain video account exposed that using the skincare products purchased from my livestream caused severe facial damage. Immediately after, another video account claimed that eating the apples bought from my livestream put a person in the ICU. The news quickly went viral. The netizens were furious. What the heck? Is this the live streamer who just got popular? She should die for selling fake products. I felt sorry for her when I thought she was harassed. I told you she was just using James for fame. Who knew her before that? I just bought skincare products from her stream yesterday. Don't scare me. Refund. Before the live streamer disappears with the money. Massive order cancellations began, and the controversy grew, with even sympathy for James becoming a trending topic again. Some local netizens went to my father's orchard, vandalizing the trees and setting some on fire. Our house was plastered with dye posters, and someone even set up a live stream outside our home, cursing us through a loudspeaker. I didn't need to guess whose handiwork this was. Sharon also started a live stream, indirectly mocking me. James was just trying to protect a weak girl, thinking it'd be fine to give her some fame. How can a girl be so heartless? Then a netizen commented, I used to work at Qingyun's company and recently resigned. She not only sells fake products but also sends signed female streamers to entertain big shots. I left to protect myself. Sharon immediately connected with this so-called former employee, who even released a video of me allegedly arranging such meetings. I scrolled through the accusations, shaking my head in ridicule. Sharon really pulled out all the stops to bring me down. The woman in the video had most of her face obscured by a hat, looking somewhat like me, but anyone familiar would know it wasn't me. In fact, she resembled. I calmly reviewed the private detective's findings. Those who manipulate public opinion will eventually be destroyed by it. When the truth is revealed, the remorseful netizens will direct all their guilt and anger at the real culprit. Immediately, I contacted the local cyber police, reporting the account of the supposed former employee for organizing illegal activities. Simultaneously, I had my company staff verify the orders for skincare products and Apple's purchase from my live stream, broadcasting the entire investigation live. Upon verification, the netizen who claimed facial damage had never bought skincare products from my stream. The one who claimed to be in the ICU had a medical record indicating a concussion, unrelated to food poisoning. At this point, Justin also stepped forward to support me. I ate a whole box of those apples and I'm fine. The narrative began to shift. I bought a lot too. My whole family ate them no problem. Those apples were juicy and sweet. I wanted to order more. I bought the skincare products too. My skin lightened by 2 shades in a week. Sharon's live stream mysteriously went offline. Now it was my turn. The netizens started piecing things together. It's all lies. That video of her arranging meetings doesn't look like Qingyun. Soon, someone pointed out. But doesn't the woman in the video resemble Sharon? I remember Sharon has the same designer bag. A knowledgeable insider even posted photos of Sharon with the same bag, confirming it was her. Naturally, this insider was planted by me. In the last life, I knew that Sharon's rise in the entertainment industry wasn't due to being a beloved star. She had another identity. She was a provider of illicit services to powerful men. Justin originally aimed to be a painter, but fought his way into the entertainment industry to investigate his sister's death. She was found naked in a hotel room, ruled a suicide by the police. Justin had seen Sharon take his sister away on the night she died. After entering the industry, Justin spent nearly 2 years gathering evidence against Sharon, but James bought off those around him, replacing the evidence. That's how I, who looked somewhat like Sharon, became the scapegoat. Soon, more netizens dug up videos showing Sharon introducing young women to older men. In one, a young woman was brutally assaulted while Sharon watched indifferently. The videos quickly topped trending charts, causing platform crashes. This is Sharon? So disgusting. That poor girl was a supporting actress in a popular web series last year. How can anyone do such things? Sharon should be locked up. Go to jail now. The outcry grew, with netizens reporting Sharon to the local authorities, who announced an investigation. Then one victim claimed that a certain popular male star, whose initials were J, participated in a group assault, and she was underage. Sharp-eyed netizens soon matched the victim's posts with James's travel itinerary. James was back in the headlines. In the last life, I knew that James and Sharon weren't tied together by some romantic notion of first love. James needed the new thrills Sharon provided. They were a perfect match. May they be bound together forever, in every life. With Sharon and James's scandal taking center stage, the storm surrounding my live stream died down. Reviewing the thick stack of documents from the private investigator, I smiled. Helping the police solve a case can be quite satisfying. The next day, local authorities received an anonymous tip. An hour later, James was photographed in handcuffs, being escorted into a police car, and the photo went viral. Sharon, however, had disappeared. Chapter 6. The police issued a manhunt, blocking all highway exits to find Sharon. Of course, I knew how she vanished. After all, I had personally arranged her escape route. Otherwise, how could she have encountered a family member of a victim disguised as a kidnapper on her way? Thinking of this, I laughed out loud during a live stream. The next news about Sharon came a week later. A pig farm owner found her in his pigsty, disheveled, her hair a mess and her clothes in tatters. In the video, Sharon buried her head in the pig trough, crazily competing with the pigs for food, muttering, "I'm so hungry, so hungry." Then she clung to a filthy pig, kissing and hugging it. "James, I love you." Her hands were covered in blood. The topics Sharon gone mad. And James is a pig trended for a week before fading. A month later, Sharon's trial began, with Justin testifying as a witness. A crowd of journalists waited outside the courthouse for the verdict. Such an event would not miss my attendance. Dressed in high fashion and wearing a refined look, I sat in the public gallery. Sharon glared at me with hatred, but as the judge took his seat, she began to act deranged, even licking the floor. She muttered, so tasty," while dancing around. The judge frowned, and Sharon's lawyer presented a psychological evaluation. "Your Honor, Sharon has been diagnosed as mentally ill and should not be held criminally responsible." I watched Sharon's performance with amusement. For someone who could act so well, it was a pity she didn't win an award before ending up in jail. But Sharon's manager was already in my pocket, and so was her lawyer. Money can make the world go round, after all. The judge revealed the evidence of Sharon forging her psychological evaluation. Sharon was sentenced to 10 years in prison for organizing illegal activities. James's trial was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Since he was charged with a severe crime involving a minor, the trial was not public. I didn't even get a chance to see him. What a pity he couldn't see this better version of me. Such a loss. On the day of the trial, James's die-hard fans protested. "My idol is innocent, he's a good man. It must be a setup. I don't believe James would do such a thing." I laughed at the fan comments. Your idol is about to join the sewing club. That afternoon, the court issued an official statement. James was sentenced to 20 years for his crimes. That night, I launched an emergency live stream with a buy one get one free promotion on all products. On the day James was imprisoned, I disguised myself as a fan to see him off. Whether it was the unappetizing prison food or the mental stress, James looked 10 years older, with hollow eyes and unkempt hair. What a pity I couldn't take a prison photo shoot for him. As the guards led him away, I cried out in front of them, tears streaming down my face. My idol, you're so pitiful. My idol is innocent. Officer, could you give him a single cell? He likes peace and quiet, not being around others." The guard looked at me with disdain. "How can you like someone like him? Go back to school, young lady." He turned to his colleague, "Put him in a shared cell." I covered my face to hide my smirk. A charming man like my idol should learn to pick up the soap. After all, in prison, those convicted of such crimes are at the bottom of the hierarchy, the most despised. 6 months later, I was preparing for the grand opening of my art studio. Many industry celebrities came to congratulate me, joking, "Chingin, I first knew you as the woman in James's scandal. Now you've really come a long way." One leaned in and whispered, "Have you heard? The prison was quite lively recently." I raised an eyebrow. "Really?" He chuckled. "They say James suffered a serious injury while working, losing a lot of blood and fainted while sewing." Feigning shock, I asked, "Is that true?" "Absolutely." I downed my champagne in one gulp. "Well then, I wish him the best." I was ready to enjoy my beautiful life.